Welcome to the Boardvengers. This is our kickoff for the 2022 season of Boardvengers. I was able to go to PAX Unplugged and meet some of the other Boardvengers in person, which was such a great experience. We got to sit down and talk about how to cull our collections, which is the video that we have for you today. It was just so great, such wonderful people. Throughout 2022, we have a rotating schedule of all of the Boardvengers. So each week on Tuesdays, we are posting a new video. It is hosted by a different Boardvenger. However, there will be, of course, cameos of other Boardvengers joining and jumping in and out. So buckle up. It's going to be an awesome year, and we're so excited. If you haven't checked out our website yet, go check out our website to read the bios of all the Boardvengers. You can see all of their posts that they've written. We also have the 7 seals, which is our seals of approval on games that we prefer in each category. Tons of content. We're so excited that you're here with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And more information on all of the Boardvengers is in the description below. So without further ado, Boardvengers, assemble. Hello everyone, we are here at PAX as the Boardvengers, and we figured it was such a missed opportunity if we didn't get together and record a video. So we are talking, I'm your host for today. There was probably an intro before this, me talking a little bit, but we're going to talk about what games we're culling from our collections, how we cull our collections, because this is the new year. It's not the new year for us right now, but when this video is published, it'll be for the new year. And we're moving into a year's worth of new gaming. So how are you going to make space for what you want? How are you going to remove games from your collection that you just realized that you don't play? So that's what we're going to get into. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to find more of each of us individually, our tags are probably beneath us now and in the comments also. So like, subscribe, hit notifications, because this is our first video. I mean, not our first technically. Our first as like an established brand.
Together.
That's
we did it.
In person. So this is what dreams have made. This is what dreams are made of, right?
Yeah. I think all of them are going to be in person from now on, right?
I wish.
Yeah,
I sincerely wish.
That'd be great.
You guys will be in person more than us. If you don't know, we're from more central and west coast. These guys are lucky enough to be in Boston. So. All right, so let's talk about how do you guys cull your collections? I mean, we're all collectors to a fault, probably. What do you do when you just know you need to get rid of some?
There's a hobby of board game playing and hobby of board game collecting.
Yes.
I actually tallied up the amount of games that I just posted about, and it was 32 different games that I had purchased. That's not including games I bought and hadn't
Here at
played.
PAX?
Yes, here at PAX,
You bought
32
games?
Wow.
Lots of games.
Good job,
just
sir.
over the year. It could have been more.
This year.
This year. Oh my gosh, I thought you were saying 32
Oh,
at PAX. I was
yeah.
like, how are you going to take those home?
I could be. It's a good thing I'm driving home.
I was thinking this is not healthy behavior. No, don't do this.
Don't do that at all. But with that, I feel like you play a game, and if it really sticks with you, you play it a couple times, really make sure that you want to play it, you want to keep it. At our house, we have several cubes of games, and we actually have them as games we want to keep, games we haven't played yet, and games we just want to maybe play again. And those have just honestly collected some dust. And fortunately, we have a bigger group of gaming people up where I'm at. So now I'm just deciding to gift those away because we're at PAX. I have all sorts of new games coming into the household, and I need the space.
So you're a gifter.
That's nice.
I am.
How magnanimous.
Better
of you.
person than I am.
Yeah.
Heart.
Yeah.
That is really nice.
We're actually trading it away for gifting / bartering.
There it is. Okay, cool.
There it is. We bought a board game table, and
Smart.
we don't want to have the tabletop be on the ground anymore. So our friend makes cool things, and he's gonna make a wedge for us to put the tabletop on.
cool.
Oh,
And keep him off the floor.
Very nice.
So we gave him Coimbra, great Western Trails. It's been a long 3 days.
I'm really glad that you're giving
Raccoon
away.
Tycoon, and a couple of other ones. Yeah, because we knew we weren't going to get to them. We bought the second edition of Great Western Trails,
Okay.
so we gave him the first edition.
Okay.
So I was able to.
Then it's accepted.
Yeah, I was about to
be mad at you. So.
Awesome. Any other? So I mean, gifter slash trader. Trader. I don't. I have done my fair share of like trading. It always seems like an awkward process to me as far as like trying to figure games of comparable value and how they value them versus how you value them. So it's been kind of difficult. So I do think you need to have kind of that mentality as far as like, I mean, it may not be a straight up even trade, but that's definitely a good way.
You don't want to trade too many bones for, Agricola.
Anything. Oh. No, I do a lot of trading, and this is something that I started doing kind of, I guess, last year now, maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. But what I would do is I do the Board Game Geek Math Trade every month.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a matrix type trade where you get to put in the games that you'll trade, and then there's a deadline, and then you kind of move on and say, I would trade this for this, this for this, this for this, and then BGG has an algorithm that says you'll ship this to this person, they'll ship you this game.
Wow.
And so it kind of like fixes all of that,
Made it
value.
possible.
And I've gotten some good trades off there.
That's
It's
really
like
cool.
that's a really good value for me, but someone got something that they wanted, and you're always getting something you want. And if you don't make a trade, you don't make a trade, and you just load it in next month.
Yeah.
And so that's led to a lot of unplayed games on my shelf.
So that happens annually?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, not annual.
Monthly.
That happens monthly?
Monthly, yep.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
then,
very cool.
so that happens monthly, and then I know that, I think it's Abercorn is how you pronounce it. They do a persistent math trade. Board Game Barrage does one, and then I know Gen Con has a in-person math trade where you can save on shipping and everything.
Right.
And so there's a thread on BGG if you go in there that just every time there's a new one, they post the link to it and you can just join.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's kind of how I've culled my collection to the games I've not played.
Yeah.
So cool.
You also don't mind getting a used game, which
Right.
is a whole nother market. So
Yeah.
I don't need to unwrap something from Shrink. Just give it to me. I want to play it. And
Right.
if I want it, I want it, and I'll trade it out again.
And that's the wonderful thing about gamers is usually we're taking pretty good care of our
Great
games.
care.
And so I've never really gotten anything from a math trade that's been in poor quality.
It's hilarious. People always ask me when I say that I got it used from someone, they'll be like, did you check the components? I'm like, no. I mean, if somebody's buying some of like this level of games, it's usually not a huge concern. And they would have let me know.
And sometimes you get cool surprises. Like I bought a used game at our local game store, and it came with organizers inside
Yeah.
of it.
Oh,
so it
nice,
was completely organized. It was sleeved. It was wonderful.
That's happened to me as well. I opened it up and I was like, oh, a kindred spirit.
Yeah.
I'm like, go back and give them a hug. Like, it's so good.
Do you get rid of games?
No. So
We get the other side of it
Yeah,
now.
the other side of it.
I'm the opposite end of I think everybody. You guys get rid of them in different ways, but I keep them all. They live in my house. They're my kids, and you can't get rid of your kids. They'll be with me, for as long as I'm around. I don't get rid of my games, and so thinking about this in the new year, something that I really like to do is organize my shelves. So my husband and I, we play a lot of campaign games or, story-based games that there are a lot now that we finished through this year, and there are more coming in. So we'll definitely rearrange those just to make certain things more accessible. But we really like having everything. Right now it all fits in our game room. I think we're getting close to it being at capacity. But I just the other day got my Board Game Geek badge for 250 games.
Nice.
Oh, very nice.
So
Awesome.
you can get badges if you keep your games.
That's dangerous. I played a game with a guy yesterday who said he was at 1,500 games.
Oh my
on
goodness.
Board Game Geek. And I was like,
Oh.
Just where do you have
I know, right?
a storage facility? Straight
I
up U-Haul
guess.
container?
Do you
Which is
really need a
tempting.
kitchen? Like
Yeah.
all those cabinets can be filled, right? Like,
I mean, as it is, we have 2 game rooms.
no, nice.
We
There
have
you
2,
go.
so we're already there.
Might as well
might-
go for a third.
I'll make
I-
some pancakes by the restaurant rivals box real quick. that makes sense. We need
That's
an oven.
appropriate. Super appropriate. Awesome. So, are there any games amongst us that that is probably not going to make it through next year? Just looking in anticipation, Meg doesn't get rid of some, but any that, or even any that you are just like, we probably won't play it for a year, but we're still going to hold on to it. What do you think?
I've learned to always now ask Meg if she wants a game I'm getting rid of before I put it out into the wild.
If anyone's selling Onk right now, you can email me at professormagok@gmail.com. I might buy it.
Very nice.
We just got rid of Ankh. I don't want to say it like that. We sold Ankh.
You only have so much space.
Yeah, Ankh it's massive. But there was a gameplay. We played it. I didn't love the gameplay like Rising Sun, or I haven't played Blood Rage. I know. Please forgive me.
It's fine.
You
don't need to.
But much would rather prefer having Rising Sun on the table versus Ankh. Wasn't for me, so we just moved it along to the next person.
Awesome. One that has been at the front of my mind is Star Wars Imperial Assault. Another one that it just takes up so much space on my shelf, which isn't necessarily an issue, but I just haven't played it in a long time. It was harder to get the right group to actually play that game than I originally anticipated, and I have like expansions, I've built organizers, like it's a pristine and beautiful game, but I am to the point where I'm just like, I know that this sitting on it's funny because the way I get rid of games, I don't usually get rid of crappy games because I feel bad like giving that to someone or selling it when I didn't like it.
Isn't that your whole shtick though? You just find something crappy about a game? You like
No, I thought that's what my shtick would be. I'm actually I'm very pleased by most games. But giving away when I give away a game or sell a game or cull it from my collection, it's usually a game that I like, but I feel guilty having it on my shelf when it could be played, when it could have like actual table time. It's like the Toy Story side of me that I'm like, those poor components, like they need to be played with. And so that's usually when I'll get rid of it, when I'm like, this is a good game that deserves to be played by somebody that'll play it more than me. And I'll go find somebody who has the game if I really get the hankering to play it again. But
Yeah, I think for me, even similar again, I'm different where there aren't many games that I can think of where I don't think we'll play again, but we definitely have been talking more about going back to old favorites.
Yeah.
So there have been so many that we loved, when we first started our gaming career, like Small World, and I love Talisman. There are a lot that and Spirit Island, that's one that we haven't gone to the table in, I think, a whole year.
That hurts me.
We really, really love all those games, and that's what we started with. But that's my goal for next year, is to try to get old favorites back to the table more.
You also have an exit game
I
that
do.
you played through and you kept. So she really
I even keep my exit
does
games.
not get rid of games.
Box them all back up, put them on the shelf.
Oh, that's great. So my wife and I, what we're doing next year is creating like a giant list of all of my games, and we're gonna see if we can get through every single one of them.
That's awesome.
Marvel Champions.
Well, yeah, that one's gonna be done. Like, probably I'll be playing it when the bell tolls. So that will be kind of an interesting thing because there's so many games on my shelf where my eye just kind of goes to the favorites, right? And it's like I pass over things that we haven't played Agricola in months, and it's like I love that game, but I just like forget that I own it type thing. And so I'm excited to do that, and I think kind of at the end of the year that will give me kind of a better sense of I'm never gonna get to play probably like King's Dilemma, right? Like I have that on my shelf. I've never played it. I want to play it, but I need 5 other people that can play a legacy game for me.
This is what the Boardvengers retreat is going to be.
Oh, okay,
for.
perfect. Yeah.
Right.
A
We'll
week
play
long?
King's Dilemma, yes. So just so you all know, we're planning, no, it's a joke, that we're going to have a week-long retreat. I mean, not really.
Okay.
We go with the games you want to play.
We joke about it. I sincerely hope it happens someday. That we're going to do a week-long retreat where we just play through some of those games. Can you imagine a week where we just finish King's Dilemma in a single outing? Oh,
That'd be amazing.
It's going to be at Ben and M's house,
Yep.
Yeah.
unbeknownst to them. So they
told us we could say that.
Yeah.
Or a random homestead in like North Dakota or something. Very Shining-esque is what we're shooting for. So if you know of a place, please let us know in the comments. Also, good time to subscribe while you're down there.
Very true.
Are there any others in your collection that you're like, yeah, it's probably gonna? I think we're hitting time roughly. We try to keep these relatively short, but we can run off at the mouth a little bit. So, any others?
I think those big games, right?
Yeah.
So many of my friends and like my game group that I had in like college and like kind of early career is kind of dispersed, right? And so like the Game of Thrones games where you need 6 people and 5 hours to play.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones,
Just hard.
Democker, those kind of games are just so hard to table.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also like when I do get to see those people that can play them, I don't necessarily want to play one of those games. I'd rather play a game where I can converse over and around. And so I think those are going to be traded out or
That's actually an interesting segue. One of mine that I said I probably won't keep around is Pendulum. It's a Stone Myers game, not for any like great reason, but it just doesn't get to the table. And when you said like you just need the right situations, I always rate games like first on accessibility, because I'm like, it could be the greatest game in the world, but if you can't get the right players or the right numbers of players or the right situation, why does it exist, right? So that's part of like the accessibility rating. And Pendulum was just one that it took 2 games to play like realistically, and I don't know, just I like the game. It just hasn't hit my table enough just because of its accessibility.
I am a completionist of Stonemaier games, so that will not be leaving my collection.
You want a second copy of Pendulum?
Yeah, would you like to-
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
I'll give your copy to somebody else entirely.
Yeah, before you guys call, let me know
Yeah.
what's leaving.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, if you had to get rid of one game, what would it be, Meg?
We're
Okay.
gonna force this.
And I joke because it could be the exit games. Because I
No,
really
that doesn't
need
count.
to keep
The
them.
ones
Doesn't
that have already
count.
been destroyed.
Gloomhaven.
Gosh, I'm trying to think of a game. I'm even having a hard. I think I have a collection that's also very catered toward me, that I started early, and by the time I was really buying a lot of games and collecting, I knew what I wanted.
Mhm.
That I'm trying to think of one that I even didn't have a great time with, and I'm having a hard time. It's really difficult. I know there are some, because it definitely happens sometimes, but I'm trying to think of even the past month, a game that frustrated me. And I don't know if there's any there's some that are frustrating where they're difficult. But I enjoy that. I enjoy replaying things. Like if we play a game and I lose, I want to play it again immediately. So
There's not a game that you're just like, I'd be okay if I never played that again.
yeah,
Uno?
I mean, sure, Uno.
Do you own Uno? Is the
No,
other question.
no.
Okay.
But even over Thanksgiving, I played with my family rummy, like a tile rummy game,
Oh,
and I
Rummy
loved
game.
that. So
It's a great game.
It is a great
I
game.
don't know.
That
It's
one-
hard.
Yeah, I couldn't get rid of that one.
Okay, well, if everybody comments enough, maybe Meg will finally tell us
Yeah, maybe I'll-
one that she would be okay not having in her collection.
Maybe I'll finally rank my games, and then whatever's the lowest, at least it's the least loved. Yeah.
So I also sense a Boardvengers challenge where we all list our games, and throughout the year we have a running, like we go back and
Okay.
edit those blog posts,
Yeah.
cross them off as we play them
Oh,
throughout the
goodness.
year,
Mm.
and see who gets through the majority, because then we can calculate percentages of collection played. If you're interested, I think it sounds awesome.
That sounds fun.
Oh.
Let's do that.
This makes me think of your
Yeah.
list, though. Something fun that my husband and I do. When we have a lot of games, and especially like the older ones, and we have a couple good choices to play. To force you to play something you don't get to play often, we wrote a bunch of them down, put them in a hat, and every game night we would
cool.
pick one. So sometimes
awesome.
it was games like we wouldn't necessarily pick that night, but we were happy we ended up getting it to the table.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
a good idea. Yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
Very cool.
All right, are there any final closing comments before we wrap this up from any of our Boardvengers?
This is wild. I mean, this is our first time being together like this,
It is.
and it's been such a wonderful experience. I'm looking forward to our growth and our future here.
Yeah, so thanks for watching. Feel free to check out our other videos that are probably now popping up on the sides. If just so you know, the structure of kind of how Boardvengers works is we basically are on a rotating queue of videos once a week. So every Tuesday is when we're supposed to publish. If somebody hasn't published on Tuesday, hate mail is not hate mail. It's encouraged that you harass them to get their video published. But yeah, and you can find more of us on our website, boardvengers.com. And yeah, we're excited to be doing this with you, and so fun to be in person together.
It was
I love
awesome.
you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It was great meeting you all.
Okay, and until next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.